Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am JayLee. This is JLeesCorner. This is my review for 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After Tell All Part 2. Okay, Tell All Part 2. If you have not done so already, please come over to subscribe to my channel and become a whole JayBird, dun 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 dun, and all that goodness and stuff. Okay, I always want y'all to remember to do what? To breathe. Okay, so you have to always inhale and exhale. Always relax and relate and release, and always center yourself and anyone around you. Okay, do not forget to also like this video, comment in the comment section. You can also share it on your social media. I just got lipstick on my finger. You can also follow me on IG and on Twitter at J_Lees_Corner. And all that stuff is in the description box below. This is what happens when I hit my face with my hand. Sometimes the lipstick just scrapes off. Anyway, let's get started. I don't have any pictures because I didn't feel like putting up my pictures. We see the episode is still focused on Kalani and Asuelu. His mama, his sister, and then Kalani's mama and sister as well, okay? And Asuelu was telling his mama, you know what I'm saying, I do not like how you spoke to my wife. You should have never talked to my wife like that, okay? Now, toxic ass sister Tammy, that's your mom, Asuelu. You know what I'm saying? She was upset. You can't tell mom what to do. Tammy, and always on all days, shut the fuck up, okay? Shut it up. Like, stop inserting yourself into everything for no apparent reason, Tammy, okay? Anyway, he like, look, I don't care if she's my mom. I don't care about if she was upset. What I said was she need to respect my wife and my children. That's it, okay? Now, Asuelu didn't say much else for the rest of the day, okay? You know what I'm saying? They then asked toxic ass Tammy, well, why did you try to fight Kalani? Like, what was the point of that? Well, we were talking and she walked away and it made me mad, so I wanted to fight her. I'm like, well, that's stupid. That's not, she wasn't even talking to you. Like, what? But I'm like, whatever. I got pissed off, tried to fight her. At this point in time, Kalani said something, which then made her say, I'll fight you too. I'll beat you up, Kalani. I'll beat your sister up. I'll beat up everybody all up and through. And that's a little fussing, a little fighting, you know what I'm saying, going back and forth or whatever. We see Andre and Leah then say, no one should be threatening to fight anybody here. I'm looking like they on computers. They all computer gangsters. We're going to leave that be or whatever. Debbie then say, Debbie, why you get involved? I think that the mom and the sister should go back to Samoa if they can't afford to live here. She technically said go back where you came from, but I also feel like if you can't afford to be here, you can't want someone else to support you. You know what I'm saying? To the point where they can't support themselves. It's just weird. I'm like, I don't really care. Now, toxic Tammy said, Debbie, I'll fight you too. No, she didn't. She said, Debbie, stay out of it. That's what she said. She then said, my brother needs to give us money whenever we want it and whenever we need it. He should always give it to us. Then Debbie said, oh, you gonna come fight me? Come fight me. I'm looking like, Debbie, sit your old ass down. Okay, that is elder abuse. She can't fight you. And her mama could. That'd be elderly on elderly fight, but I'm like, she can't because she's too young. Now, at that point in time, Angela then gets involved, and she like, well, Debbie, I'll take your place. I'll fight. You not tough, Tammy. You tough through them keys on a computer, okay? In real life, if I was your mama, I would have been beat your ass. I'm saying, quit begging for money. You don't want to fight me. And I'm like, at this point, it's a back and forth fussing, and I'm like, why is Angela and Tammy fussing about fighting? I just don't get it. It was team too much. Toxic ass Tammy, look, at the end of the day, I still feel like my brother needs to send more money back to Samoa to whoever needs it, okay? And if he needs to leave his wife, if he needs to leave his kids, if he needs to do whatever it takes to send them money, then he should do that. I don't support him staying there if he can't send us money. I'm looking like, you was really a crazy bitch, but I'm gonna leave that be or whatever. At this point in time, his mama like, Tammy, stop. Don't worry about what your brother's doing. He is helping with the family back in Samoa. Okay, he is your brother, Tammy. You need to appreciate him. You need to love him, Tammy. I appreciate what he does for me. Okay, I love my son, and I apologize for what I said about his wife and his kids. I love them. I love my son. I don't want him to lose his wife or his sons. They are a beautiful family and all these things or whatever. She brings up how the issue she had before was the Asuelu was telling her issues that he and Kalani was having. So that's why at that point in time, she was saying, like, I don't care about them because they was fussing. He's like, but she says, I've talked to him since then, and I have encouraged him to grow up, to be a better husband, to be a better father, and to be a whole ass grown man in these streets. He can't keep being out here playing volleyball and this bullshit or whatever. Meaning when he came and stayed with me for that time, I said, you gotta fix it. You can't stay here. Go ahead on somewhere else, okay? So, that's why I tell people you can't be complaining to family about your marital issues or relationship issues, because when you stay with that person, your family is pissed, okay? And they want to beat that ass. It don't mean you should, but again, she said that was the reason why she was acting that kind of way based on what Asuelu had been saying. I'm like, girl, okay. They was talking or whatever. I stopped listening, because it became white noise at that point. It was just seeing too much. But we see Asuelu was upset mainly because Kalani's mother and sister just keep saying how he's that Asuelu is the cause of their issues, how he's selfish this or whatever. He's just not a good husband, okay? And it's his fault or whatever. And he's sitting there and he ain't saying shit, and we don't like it. And he got up and he left. I said, okay. He took his mic off and was gone. We then see Kalani walking around the house. Asuelu? Are you here? Are you in the room? Are you in the garage? Okay, Asuelu's gone. Okay, I don't know where he is. Oh, and I'm going to try to call or text. Oh, I can't. He's blocked me. I'm like, damn, that quick, girl. Asuelu was a whole child. But I keep telling y'all, she knew that when she fucked him the first time. Ain't no way she slept with him and didn't realize he a little slow. He a little island slow. Like, he not gonna make it in America if we don't teach him some things or whatever. Ain't no way he was different when they had sex. Girl, I can't. Ain't gonna leave it at that. We then get back on Colt, Jess, and Vanessa. I feel like this reunion is a bunch of bullshit. And repetitive things, but I'm gonna let it be. With Colt, Jess, and Vanessa, they bring out Vanessa. I do have Vanessa's picture. Boom. Okay, we're gonna put Vanessa right there. This so I can read my notes and I ain't gonna worry about looking nowhere. So they bring out Vanessa, whatever, and she brings up how me and Colt, okay, we're both in bad marriages. Okay, we're both in bad marriages, and that's what we bonded over, discussing our bad marriages. And we got along really, really great, and that was really it. Colt say, well, I met her around the time of Larissa's second arrest. That's when I met her. We didn't meet in person. We just started talking, but that's when we first just met online and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I didn't start talking to her until later on when things got even worse between me and Larissa. And so they both say how Colt wanted to date her once he left Larissa alone, once he was divorced with Larissa. Colt wanted to date Vanessa, but Vanessa said, nah, I'm good. I don't want to date you right now. You know what I'm saying? And she started dating someone else. So Vanessa was dating somebody else. At that point in time, Larissa had met Eric, and then Colt had met Jess. So that's how things played out or whatever. But Colt said, I did love Vanessa, okay, but she didn't want me. So because she didn't want me, that's why I decided dating Jess. And it wasn't fair. I should have done that or whatever, but it was what it was or whatever. Was pissed. You're a liar, Colt. You're a liar. You've been lying to me and blah, 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 blah. I'm upset, blah, blah, blah. Now, they asked Colt, well, did you sleep with Vanessa at any time while dating Jess? He said, well, and he pauses. I'm like, oh, that means Jess. He said, when I came back from Brazil, I did cheat on Jess who was sleeping with Vanessa. I'm like, oh, so Vanessa is kind of like, you know what I'm saying, little sad piece or whatnot, okay? Anyway, Jess, you see, you lied. You lied, Colt. Your mama lied, Colt. And Vanessa lied too. You're all lied to me. You're weird and you're disgusting. I'm like, but you kept wanting to fuck him. So how disgusting was he? But I'm going to leave that beat. Now, the whole time, Larissa's also saying shit on the sideline. You're stupid. You're a whore. And all that. She kept calling it, no. And she just kept saying like a little weird, random shit, but we don't care that much. At the same time, because Colt has admitted to cheating on Jess with Vanessa, Larissa then say, well, Colt cheated on me with Vanessa too. I'm saying she ruined our relationship. And she keeps calling Vanessa a crocodile girl. I mean, is she a crocodile Dundee? Is she from Australia? I was confused on that. Now, Colt say, well, I did emotionally cheat on Larissa with Vanessa. I never slept with her at that point in time. We did, we had a connection with us or whatever. So I will say that I did cheat emotionally because Larissa was crazy. Anyone acting as if Larissa and Colt had this perfect marriage or whatever, they were not right for each other and they should have broken up. Period. Okay, I don't care how it happened, it should have happened. I'm gonna leave that be. Now Larissa then bring up, well, I was married to Colt or whatever, and at one point in time, he don't know this, but I put a GPS on his phone and it would, show me where he was or whatever, so I would see that he was lying about where he was going or whatever. And then at one point in time, when I got arrested one night, like right before I got arrested, it showed me a text from somebody who said, I'm done when I'm tired of waiting. And I think that was from Vanessa. I didn't get no fucks. I really didn't or whatever. Now, Vanessa said how she does love Colt as a friend, as just a friend, but she could never trust him as a boyfriend because he does lie to women or whatever. It's just like, so I'm not mad at him for what he do because he's not my boyfriend, and I would never date him in that way because I see how he is. But as a friend, he cool or whatnot. Okay, so that was really all it was or whatever. Jess just keeps talking to Vanessa like, you're a whore, you're this and you're that, you're a horrible person, which makes Vanessa get up and then she walks away. And then they go on break. And I'm like, it's the weirdest thing because we see these people do not have good relationships. So it's like, I'm not mad that Jess and Colt broke up. I'm not bad that Larissa and Colt broke up. They were toxic relationships. Who gives a fuck at all? The thing is, Colt is a piece of shit. He does lie to women. He does manipulate people or whatever. That's who he is. Now, is he saying, I'm trying to get better? He's saying it. Do I believe it? No. Does Colt need to be back on any other season of the show? No. Not at all. Now, we know Larissa won't be back because she was fired because she was doing porn or whatever. But, I mean, we don't need Colt and Debbie back either. Leave them somewhere else. There are other couples we can see on 90 Day Fiance, happily ever after. Anyway, so we then see when they're on break, we see Jess and Colt having a civil conversation. Okay, and I'm like, oh, what was all this calmness before, Jess? Because you kept yelling and cussing and fussing all the time, but now you so calm. Like, what, Colt? Because Colt kept saying, Jess, hi, Jess. How are you, Jess? And she's like, why you be nice? Why you be nice to me? And I'm like, because he's creepy. He's creepy Colt. Okay, anyway, he's like, look, I'm sorry for what I did. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be better now, but I'm so sorry that I lied to you, that I hurt you. And then she said, well, just be better, okay? Be better. Treat your next girlfriend better. Even if you get with Vanessa, be a better person or whatever. I don't want you no more. I'm over you or whatever, but you need to be better. And I'm like, okay, it was just too much. It was just too many conversations, and I stick by my word that I feel like Larissa should not have anything to say about Colt. Like, there should be no connection between Colt and Larissa's stories. It should be about Larissa and Eric's crazy ass, her new toxic ass relationship. But I digress. And I'm like, why we getting back on Jess and them, and we ain't said shit about Larissa, girl. Anyway, we then get to Tanya and Sinjin, another couple who needs a divorce. Now, he say now he's working full time. Oh, in the pandemic, you working full time. Okay. He's working full time as a server. Serving what? Beer, pizzas. Are you a delivery man? I don't know. Anyway, because he could be a DoorDash driver. He brings about it's so unique working in America. Well, you could have been working, but you didn't want to. So, they asked him, like, what's the current status of y'all marriage? Like, what's the current of y'all marriage, of y'all issues or whatever? Well, we're married right now, whatever, but Sinjin say our issues are like our communication, where Tanya say their issues were that they both have two different outlooks on their future. Okay, they both look at the future in different ways. Which she like, I've always had a plan for my future, and he never has. Like he just kind of flies by the seat of his pants. It's I guess, but you knew that and still married. You not only married him, you brought him to America to marry him. Anyway, they bring up how, since they have been, quarantined together, they've been having many arguments. Okay, so luckily their house has two bedrooms, so they can kind of sleep separately if need be, have their own space if need be, and let that be that and whatnot. Okay, now she also brings up like the issue we keep talking about is drinking, and more drinking. She does paint Sinjin as if he's an alcoholic, not meaning he's a sloppy drunk person who not doing anything in life, but she's made it seem as if he's always drinking. He needs to drink at all times, and that's one sign of an alcoholic or whatever. So we then see he said, look, I don't think I drink that much. In my culture in South Africa, we drink a lot of whatever, and that's just what it is. I like beer, so if I want to, I'm going to have a beer. Her thing is, I'm from a Latin culture, we also drink or whatever, that's fine, but I know my limit, meaning he don't know his. And there is a difference of people who can drink and have a good time to people who drink so much they get belligerent, and you don't want anyone that's like a messy drunk. Is he a messy drunk? We don't know. Now, she brings up some issue of what they were fussing about or whatever that happened a couple of days ago, but she won't go into detail about what actually happened. When they kept saying, what happened? Like, tell us what happened. No, because it's embarrassing. Why did you bring it up? Because now I wonder what the fuck happened. And he won't say what happened, and she won't, so you just wasted my whole life. Because I was waiting my whole life to get one interesting thing that happened between you two. Okay, anyway, so they then bring on his two friends from South Africa, the two roommate dudes or whatever. And then they like, look, we don't think he has an issue, whatever. We think he is not a person with drinking problem. Because Sinjin, are you working in America right now? He's like, yes, I'm working or whatever. And then Tanya then say, yeah, but at first you could not even get a work visa because of your drinking. He's like, no, that isn't true. But 2 years ago when I applied for a work visa here, they denied me because when they contacted my old boss, that was a place where I did get drunk and got into a fight. So because of that, that's why they denied me. But it wasn't as if I had these consistent issues of being drunk on the job or whatnot. I mean, that is misleading, but you should never get drunk on the job. But he said the job was to drink with people. I was drunk. I'm looking like, girl, I don't know. So the friends, again, it's like we support Sinjin. The friends are being biased because he's their friend. That's what they're supposed to do or whatnot. I'm seeing people ask Sinjin, would you quit drinking if that was the thing that could save your marriage? He says no. Okay, if she thinks that I'm an alcoholic, I would have to find someone who assess me for me and know that I am not an alcoholic. Anyone who's not willing to stop drinking could possibly be an alcoholic. But it's like, JayLee, would you be willing to stop drinking water for dude? And I'd be like, no. But water's different than beer. I digress. Anyway, the friends then say, well, we think their issue is Tanya. Okay, Tanya this, Tanya that. And they're again going at her because he's their friend or whatnot. I think it's both of them. But I think their point kind of was Tanya was the one pushing this structure more than Sinjin, who was kind of just going along. So Tanya should have known things weren't right, but she just kept pushing the same thing or whatever, and they ended up being married. Sean asked the friends, like, do you think they're a good couple? They was like, no, don't ask us if they're a good fit. Let's ask Tanya. Tanya, are you and Sinjin a good fit? Sinjin replies first, and then says, well, I don't think, we are a good couple. I don't think, not 100%. And they say, no. We're asking her. And then she says, well, I think we fit. I'm like, But he just said y'all don't. And it's the weird thing to where they're like, yeah, but if Sinjin said that y'all do not fit and you said that y'all do fit, how does that work? If he is this it's two different, answers or whatever. And I'm like, Now, the friends were being assholes. The friends were being jerks. They were like laughing at stuff or whatever. And they were again blaming Tanya more than they were forcing Sinjin to just be responsible. But I feel like the reason they do that is because Tanya is very smart. She's very intelligent or whatever. So you got with someone who you knew how they were. And now that you know how they were, now you want to change them and you fuss and fight about him not changing. Well, because you married a drunken African man, South African man, who doesn't want to work. And now you want him to stop drinking and get a good job or whatever. And that's not who he is or whatnot. So, it was weird because Sinjin brings up how had we not gotten married, we would have already broken up. Okay, and for me, we've been together for like over 2 years right now, and I don't want to spend another 2 years with her trying to make it work. I would prefer if we know it doesn't work, like let's just leave it alone right now. Like let's not waste 2 more years. Like it should not be this hard. But Tanya then say, well, we can't put a timeline on it. We can't do that because like it can be good in 6 months. But if it's not in 6 months, and then we can reevaluate. No, if it hasn't been good for 2 whole years, I'm gonna let that go. You can't fit a square peg in a circle hole. It doesn't work that way. Okay, it just doesn't. Anyway, so that was that thing. They was then chit chatting about people sex life. Skip right on over that. Okay, I don't care. That's not my business. Okay, that's not my business. I don't want that. I'm like, And I kind of came right back in when they started asking Michael and Angela about having a baby. Okay, now this whole thing to me was pointless. Okay, they brought on. It was Angela and Michael. It was also his auntie from Nigeria. And then it was her daughter, Skylar. Now, Angela, for the most part, kept saying, me and Michael can possibly have kids. We can do this. We can do that. It's all these things that we can do to possibly have kids. I can tote some kids. Michael kept saying from the beginning, I want kids. She said she can have my kids, even though she's in her 50s or whatever. This and that can happen. Boom, boom, boom. And now that she's over 54, okay, now that they are married, now that he wants children, and she's saying, like, I can't have them now. It's not fair for you to try to force me to have kids. And, the only way for it to really go down would to be if my daughter, Skylar, gives us one of her eggs, and then she also carries the baby, because I don't want us having a surrogate who would then have to move into the house, who I would then have to watch Michael, because Michael may look at her and want to fuck her and get her. I'm like, what? When she said I would have to watch Michael to make sure that he does not get an erection by having this other one, I'm like, I just can't. It's just seemed too much. At the end of the day, Angela is saying everything about the only way we'll have kids is if it's by my daughter, because I want the baby to have some kind of lineage, bloodline to me. And the only way that can happen is if Skylar gets me some eggs. But we know, as Skylar say, no, because me giving you one of my eggs, we like me giving you one of my babies that I would have to see grow up and be raised by you, but she or he, the baby is my baby. And I completely agree with that. And Tanya then say, well, I'll give you my eggs, you know what I'm saying? And no, thank you. I'm good on that, because again, she wants one from her bloodline. And I feel like a part of that is she knows Skylar would never say yes. So let me make my only way to do it is if it goes this way, and she know it won't go that way. I feel like both Angela and Michael are stupid. Michael was dumb enough to marry an older woman who's too old to have kids, and he kept saying, I want kids. Angela ain't shit, because she knew he wanted kids, made it seem as if they could have kids in some kind of way, and now she's saying no. She's like, we can't afford IVF, it's too expensive, and who wants to pay all this money for IVF? And then when we do it, it does not work, but then I'm too old to live life with you. I can't travel and do this and that or whatever. If we spent 5 to 10 years trying to have kids. I'm in my 50s now. I don't want to be in my 60s and I'm then too old to do shit and you want kids. Then that's the reason as to why you should not have married Michael. And I don't like how Skylar was making it seem as if him, Michael and his family are wrong for expecting my mom to birth a kid for him, and it's not fair of them to feel as if she can't do that, then she's not good enough for him. Bitch, your mama married a young man who she knew when the kids. And even though Skylar said, like, I never wanted them to be married, but they are, it's not fair for them to put all this pressure on her. Bitch, look, I blame everyone. I blame Angela. I blame Michael. It's just the stupidity of it all. And the aunt then said, had I known she could not give him kids, I would not have supported the wedding. Okay? I feel as if she needs to allow him to have kids with another woman, which pissed Angela off because Michael then said, right. I told you, that's another option we can look at. So that made her mad, and she got up and she walked away. I'm like, I don't care. Like, we know IVF is expensive. We know all these things. However, you chose to marry a young man who you knew wanted children. You kept pumping him up. We can do this and we can do that. And he was dumb enough to listen. So at the end of the day, this is all Michael's fault. Because he should have been left her ass alone. Okay? And I don't know why he felt like I can force her or I can convince her to allow me to have kids with someone else. I thought I had a burp. See, I did. Excuse me. Anyway, I don't know why he would act as if she would allow him to do whatever else. It was just dumb. And there was a lot of back and forth about that. It's too much money. And I'm too old. You've been too old. Okay, you've been too old since the beginning. You've always been too old to give him kids. And, when I had that one egg, that was not an egg. It wasn't an egg. You knew you had not had a period in 2 years. What egg? A scrambled one? Sunny side up, girl, the fuck bye. Anyway, it went off with her walking away because she was mad because Michael said he would want a baby with another woman. They should do. They're not married in America, so is the wedding even valid? He's not here, she's not there, girl. The fuck bye. Anyway, that was it. Part 3 comes on today. I'll have it out sometime. I'm not sure when, but anyway, I'm done. Peace.